Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Vande Guru Nisha Bhakta Nisha Nisha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Satat Shakti Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakan Vande Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodito Gaudaye Pushpavanatau Chitrau Sandau Tamonudau Granthera Arambha Kori Mangala Charana Guru Vaishnava Bhagavan Tinera Smarana Hoy Vighana Vinashana Anayasa Sapal Nija Vanchita Purana Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, dear worshipable devotees, thank you so much for joining. We are reading Sri Caitanya-Caritāmṛta, Adi-lila, chapter number 2, entitled Lord Chaitanya, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So, we read till text number 55 yesterday. So we'll keep moving to the next verse in this chapter, which is text number 56. Chappan Bhoga. No, this is 55. 56. Seiti na janera tumi parama ashraya tumi mula narayana ithe ki sanshaya. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Shri Prabhupada Ki Jai. You are the ultimate shelter of these three plenary portions. Thus, there is not the slightest doubt that you are the primeval Narayana. Purport: Brahma has confirmed that Lord Krishna is the Supreme, the source of the three manifestations known as Kshirodakshay Vishnu, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and Karunodakshay Vishnu, Mahavishnu. For his pastimes, Lord Krishna has four original manifestations, namely Vasudeva, Sankarsana, Pradyumna and Aniruddha. The first purusa avatara, Mahavishnu, is in the causal ocean, who is the creator of the aggregate material energy, is an expansion of Sankarsana. The second Purusha, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, is the expansion of Pradyumna, and the third Purusha, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, is an expansion of Aniruddha. All these are within the category of manifestations of Narayana, who is a manifestation of Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna. So the word Mool Narayana, he is the original Narayan, he is the cause of all Narayan. Lord Brahma is speaking these words to Sri Hari, Sri Krishna, that all these Purusha avatars, which are expansions of Vasudeva, Sankarsana and Pradyumna, or Sankarsana, expansion is causal, the first Purusha, Mahavishnu. Then Pradyumna's expansion, Kshirodakshay Vishnu, and then, Garbhodakshay Vishnu, and then the Pradyumna was Sankarsana, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Aniruddha's expansion is Kshirodakshay Vishnu. Yeah, it will be nice to make a kind of a table of all these three avatars and what are their expansions and what do they represent, etc. So Krishna is the Mool Narayana. You are the ultimate shelter of these three plenary portions, referring to all these three Purusha avatars. So quite straightforward. We have been repeating that point. Let's see the next verse, 57. Yes, would someone like to read?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna devotees, downward pranam, all goes to Srila Prabhupada. 57. Chaitanya Amshi Parabam Narayan, Teho Tomar Vilas Tumi Mool Narayan. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada with joy. The source of these three features is the Narayan in the spiritual sky. He is your Vilas expansion. Therefore, you are the ultimate Narayan. So as you read that Krishna's expansion as Prakash and Vilas, so here Narayan, the defined form with four-handed, is as Vilas expansion of the Lord. So ultimately, Krishna, Narayan, sorry, Krishna, Narayan, Vilas, Krishna and Narayan are the same, and all the three Purusa avatars are the features of the Narayan or Krishna. Back to Prabhuji.
Thank you. So this word is repeated again and again in the last verse, in this verse, and in multiple other verses. This is repeated. Tumi Mula Narayan. At least we can remember that. Mula means the chief or the original or the primeval or the root. Mul also means root. So you are the original or the root of all Narayanas. Tumi means here referring to Krishna because Brahmaji is talking to Krishna here. Okay, 58. Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu, I can. Thank you very much. Number 58. Ateva Brahma Vakaye Para Yoma Narayana Taneho Krishna Re Vilasa Yei Tattva Viva Rana. Translation. Therefore, according to the authority of Brahma, the Narayana, who is the predominating deity in the transcendental world, is but the Vilasa feature of Krishna. This has now been conclusively proved. So here, Brahmaji, in concluding that the Narayana is nothing but who is the predominating deity in the transcendental world, which is also the feature of Vilasa Rupa, which is the feature of Krishna. That's what the Brahmaji concluding here. Thank you, Prabhu. Back to you.
Thank you. Mokshamataji, what is the difference between Prakasha and Vilasa? You want to share with everyone?
Hare Krishna, all devotees, and with pranam. Prakash is Balramji, and Vilas is, I guess, Srivas ji.
Okay. Umesh Prabhu, do you want to share?
Here is showing pastime incarnation, Prabhu. The Vilasas.
Okay. Sudhir Prabhu, you want to share? Who knows? Raise your hand if you know.
Vilasa is Krishna's all the incarnations. They are not same feature as Krishna. They are different, but they are non-different, like from one candle to another candle. And Prakasha is Krishna's when he's doing the Lila. He expanded himself like innumerable. And when he was doing the pastimes in Dwaraka, 16,108 times he expanded himself. So that is the Prakasha.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, we discussed this in chapter 1, which is an important point, the two Prakasha and Vilasa. So in Prakasha, basically, there is no difference in the physical form. Like the two examples are given, the gopis doing Rasalila with Krishna. There was no difference between this Krishna and that Krishna and this Krishna and that Krishna. They all looked the same garments, same everything. And no one could tell that there is any difference. Perhaps, or rather, they were only seeing that Krishna is with them. Same with the queens and the Mahishis in Dwarka. They were always feeling Krishna is with them, the same Krishna, the same bodily feature, everything. But in the Vilasa, the difference is in the Rupa. Like Balramji's Rupa is different from Krishna's Rupa. Like Narayana's Rupa is different from Krishna's Rupa. So that is the biggest difference. So, okay. It's an important point to know. You have discussed this multiple times.
Prabhuji, I have a question here. So Narayan is the predominating deity in the transcendental world. What does it mean by?
Yeah, like the spiritual world is called Vaikuntha. Vishnu, the Vishnu forms, Narayana forms is the main. But we know that there are other, in the transcendental world means spiritual world. So spiritual world, basically, there are unlimited spiritual worlds. But generally, we call Vaikuntha, right? In a layman's language, or sometimes even in general terms, we can go, oh, he's gone to Vaikuntha, right? So he's gone to the abode of Lord Narayana or Lord Vishnu. But when we get to deeper understanding, we know that it is not just one abode of Lord Vaikuntha. There is Ayodhya Dham, there is Goloka Vrindavan, there is Kurma Loka, Matsya Loka, etc., Narshinga Loka. So, but in general terms, sometimes we just say, oh, Vaikuntha. So,
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Okay, let's read the next verse. Prabhu, you want to read?
Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Text 59. এই শ্লোক তত্ত্ব লক্ষ্মণ ভাগবত সার পরিভাষা রূপে ইহার সর্বাত্রাধিকার. Translation by His Divine Grace Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila. The truth indicated in this verse, text 30, is the essence of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. This conclusion, through synonyms, applies everywhere. Krishna Prabhu back to you.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji?
I just want to share the
Yes, please.
Srila Prabhupada is mentioning here essence of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam. So, what is the essence of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam? His Holiness Bhakti Charu Maharaj, I think I shared with the group his message in one time in Gaur Purnima. That essence of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the Brajeshu Aradhya Bhagavan Brajeshu Tanaya Krishna. Means Nandanandan Krishna, he is the Aradhya Bhagavan. And Maharaj also quoted a nice verse, which was actually quoted by, there was a associate of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name was Srinath. He was contemporary. And Maharaj quoted the verse and he explained nicely that how we find out that Aradhya Bhagavan is the Brajeshu Tanaya Krishna from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam Pramanamala Amala Purana. I don't remember the whole verse actually. Maharaj very nicely explained that the whole message of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam is the Aradhya Bhagavan Brajeshu Nandanandan Krishna. So that's what Prabhupada, that's my understanding. Back to you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So rightly you mentioned that the Bhagavatam leads to Krishna. In fact, there is no difference, right? We also know this verse, when Krishna winded up his pastimes, he incarnated in the form of Bhagavatam. When Vyasadeva wrote Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, then only he was happy, unalloyed glories of the Supreme Lord. So basically, what is happening here, Brahmaji establishes Krishna as the source of Narayana, and then the background goes. So it's important to kind of refer the verse 30, which was being discussed, because Brahmaji is kind of telling the same thing here. Narayanastvam nahi sarvadehinam atmasi adhi shakhila lokas sakshi Narayano angambara bhujalanyat tachapi satyam na tvaiva maya. O Lord of the Lords, you are the seer of all creation. You are indeed everyone's dearest life. You are not therefore my father Narayana. Narayana refers to one whose abode is in the water born from Nara, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, and Narayana is your plenary portion. All your plenary portions are transcendental. They are absolute and are not creations of Maya. So this is the verse from Bhagavatam, Brahmaji's prayers. Same verse as it is. Oh, so it's interesting here Prabhupada is are mentioning that it is mentioned in the Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam also. Well, actually, it's opposite because Canto 10, Chapter 14 is the point where Srila Prabhupada, last kind of gave the Bhakti-vedanta purport, and later his disciples continued. So the disciples of Srila Prabhupada are mentioning that Srila Prabhupada comments on this verse. So Srila Prabhupada's disciple tried to refer Prabhupada's words as and when possible, which this verse, Prabhupada had already commented on this verse right here, which we see. So the disciples are referring the same over there, and that was done later. So, okay, so we'll come back to text. So it's a good verse to remember for sure. If we want to understand like word by word, Narayana Tvam, you are that Supreme Lord. He Sarva Dehi Nam. Deha means body. Sarva means all. You are the seer. Atma, Atmasi. You are the Atma or the soul. Atma means the soul or the super soul in this case. You are the super soul of all. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto. Right? Quite similar. You are present as a super soul in everyone. And you are adhishta, akhila, loka. You are the Lord of akhila means supreme or like everywhere. Sometimes in local Mumbai language, they say Akha India. Right? That's what's coming from there. The whole India, the whole Akhila Loka, of all the words. You are the Sakshi as well. You are the witness. And you are everyone's dearest also, because you are so close. You are the seer. You are you're the seer of all creation. And you are the super soul and the most dear to everyone. Then the third, Narayano Angam Nara Bhu Jala Jalayanat. So this refers to that your plenary portion, Narayana Anga. Anga means part. So Lord Narayana, who is your part, what does he do? He is born. Nara Bhu, in the water, Jalanya. One whose abode is in the water born from Nara. Water born from Nara. Tachapi satyam na tavaiva maya. So this is not the creation of Maya. Na tavaiva maya. This is the real truth. So, in short, all your portions, your angas, are transcendental. Janma karma cha me divyam. This is not some illusion or some material creation of the Lord. So that's the verse. Now we'll move on to text number 60, from 30 to 60. Would someone like to read this one?
Krishna Prabhuji, I can read.
Yes, please.
and with pranams to all the assembled devotees. Jai Srila Prabhupada. Brahma Atma Bhagavan Krishnera Vihara E Artha Na Jani Murkha Artha Kare Ara. Translation by His Divine Grace Abhay Charnaravind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Not knowing that Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan are all features of Krishna, foolish scholars speculate in various ways. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you for joining. I've been kind of missing you for quite a few days. I hope all is well at your end. Thank you. So, immature people may debate, well, we are the worshippers of Bhagavan, we are the worshippers of the Brahma Jyoti, we are the worshippers of Paramatma, so Paramatma is highest, or the effulgence is highest. Foolish scholars speculate in their own ways, not knowing the complete truth. As devotees, we understand even Brahmaji is saying all this. We are not just concocting stuff here. We are not ultimately one who understands Bhagavan is like understands the complete truth. Just partial understanding of Brahman or partial understanding of Paramatma without the Bhagavan is like energy without energetic, right? It's impossible. So we are not denying the existence of Brahman. We're not denying the Paramatma form or realization, but the intelligent people, tattva vidas, vadanti tattvidas, brahmeti bhagavaniti, brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyati, Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2. So the intelligent people, they see it as all the same thing, which in it is. It is the Supreme Lord, actually. What to speak of Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan, they see even Krishna in every aspect of life. But immature, so-called jnanis, etc., murkha, the word used is, or jnanis, they may just keep artha, keep debating, I'm better, what I do is better, etc. So let's see, next verse, 61. Yes, Sampada Mataji, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Text 61. Avatari Narayana Krishna avatara tena chaturpuja inha manusya akara. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Because Narayan has 4 hands, whereas Krishna looks just like a man, they say that Narayan is the original God, whereas Krishna is but an incarnation. Purport. Some scholars argue that because Narayan has 4 hands, whereas Sri Krishna has only 2, Narayan is the original personality of Godhead, and Krishna is his incarnation. Such unintelligent scholars do not understand the features of the Absolute. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, back to you.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Mataji. It's interesting what Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is mentioning here, that some people think, well, how can 2 come from 4? Right? Sorry, how can 4 come from 2? They think, well, 2 can come from 4, but not 4 from 2. So the 4-handed Narayana form can be the cause of the 2-handed Krishna form, but the 2-handed Krishna form cannot be the cause of the 4-handed Narayana form. Right? It may sound, it may sound rational, but that's not how we understand bhakti. Not through our limited rationale, not through what is conceivable to my mind, which is, how can we understand the infinite by our infinitesimal intelligence, which is also polluted with so many vices. So understanding of Krishna is through Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, not through understanding, that I think 4 is a bigger number, so 4 can give birth to 2 and 2 cannot give birth to 4 because 2 is smaller number. So Krishna looks like just like a man. Well, Narayan looks a little special, right? 4 arms, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma, something special. But Krishna is, therefore Brahma also got confused, right? It's an important point how when Brahma got confused thinking, he was just an ordinary cowherd boy eating butter, playing with his cows and friends. So, but now Brahma understood. So it's a lesson we should not try to understand Krishna through our own limited senses, but through the process of bhakti. (62). Dear Prabhu, want to read?
Yeah, sure, Prabhu. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all those to Srila Prabhupada. Try to read like Bengali, Prabhu. Let's go. He mata nana rupe kara purve paksha kahare nijita bhagavata padyabhaksha. Translation. In this way, their arguments appear in various forms, but the poetry of Bhagavatam expertly refutes them all. Hare Krishna Prabhu, as you rightly very much explained. So those people, they have weird arguments about that. They don't know that, Krishna has everything. So like you have shared this example, how a big banyan tree can come out of a small seed, So there are so many hundreds and wonderful millions of, zillions of wonderful things that Krishna, can do. That's my understanding. Please, Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu, for so nicely reading. And so the point here is that if we have to understand Krishna truly, then we have to refer Bhagavatam. Not our own speculation, not our own intelligence. So therefore, the book Bhagavatam and the person Bhagavatam, both Bhagavatams are required. Both Bhagavatas are required. So then we can understand Krishna truly. Otherwise, we'll just keep concocting and keep dry speculation, dry knowledge. Okay. So what is the Purva Paksha here? The Purva Paksha basically refers to that they keep their arguments in the form that Krishna is a avatari is Narayan and Krishna is avatar. So avatari is the source. But we have read that Krishna is the supreme avatari. He is the mool avatar. He is the source of all sources. Sarva karana karanam. But the dry speculators take this paksha or this side and keep objecting. No, this will happen. How can ultimately see Krishna was just born 5,000 years ago, right? This is another common argument. Well, how can Krishna be God? See, he is just like playing and doing some mischief. Look at what Vishnu does, right? He is the source of he is the supreme creator. He creates all these universes. Brahmaji is standing on his navel, etc. So, which is true. Sometimes, like this example, we can give a common rationale, or that a person who's the owner of the company, a big company, multinational company, all the employees, they may not even know who is the owner. They're just doing their work, their daily work, whatever is told to them by their manager. Who tells their manager? His manager. Who tells his manager? The general manager. Who tells the general manager? CEO. There are so many layers that a common employee may not even know. That ultimately under whose direction the CEO is working. Oh, the owner is sitting in Hawaii somewhere. The owner sitting in Goloka Vrindavan. Oh, he has told all these Narayanas to do act. And then Narayana, different energies for the demigods, the departmental heads. So a common man may not even get to that level of knowing the owner or a common employee. So it's a good analogy. Text number 63. Anyone wants to read?
Hare Krishna, all devotees, Sarvat Pranam. Text number 63. Vadanti tat tattvavitas tvamayaj jnanam advayam brahme parameti bhagwaneti dayam. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth say that it is non-dual knowledge and is called as impersonal Brahman, the localized Paramatma, and the personality of Godhead. Purport: this text is from Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 2, verse number 11. So, in this, Srila Prabhupada is telling us that the one who has some knowledge knows that the absolute truth is Prabhuji, please explain.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. This is a very often quoted verse. We have studied this in the first chapter also. And pretty much for the last 20-30 verses, we have been discussing that. The Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan, the localized, the impersonal effulgence, Brahman, the localized form, and the Supreme Bhagavan. The learned transcendentalist, Tattva Vida, the learned who understand the Tattva. What is the real Tattva? This whole chapter is about Tattva. Tattva Vastu Krishna, Krishna Bhakti Prema Rupa. Tattva, the real Tattva Vastu, Vidyam Vastav Vastu is Sri Krishna. That's the whole essence of Bhagavatam, as Prabir Prabhu was also quoting a beautiful verse. The whole essence of Bhagavatam is to know Bhagavan. He is the real Vastu, he is the real Tattva Vastu. So, learned transcendentalists can understand, not dry speculators, not the Gyanis, not Tom, Dick, Harrys. Through the Bhagavatam, we can understand through the book Bhagavatam and the person Bhagavatam what is the real sum and substance. This is this verse. So, any other comments anyone has? Okay.